Good morning. This is the class that we were supposed to have on March the 9th, on Monday. And today we're going to talk about new Englishes, specifically about the variation across post-colonial Englishes, and so the relationship between the outer and inner circle Englishes. According to some scholars, Platt, Weber, and Hoe, in their 1984 studies, post-colonial Englishes, or new Englishes, have to fulfill 4 criteria in order to be defined as such. Point number 1, English had to be developed through their educational system. So basically, English had to be used at school. Point number 2. A new English, in order to be defined as a new English, had to develop in an area in which English is not the language spoken by most of the population. Of course. Point number 3. It has to be used for certain functions. Okay? Work, school, general interactions. And finally, point number 4. It has to be a form of localized, or let's say nativized, English. This means that the variety of English, that is, a new English, has some features of its own. This means that there are some sounds, intonation patterns, words, sentences, expressions that are typical only of that area. They are not something that is linked to English, okay, to British English, American English, whatever. It is something that has spread locally. The problem, the difficulty with this type of Englishes, with post-colonial Englishes or new Englishes, is that scholars try to study to what extent the new things that are used in this language are accepted or acceptable. Okay? Remember the case that I asked you quite as a sort of provocation. What would you think about having, I don't know, a teacher from India or Singapore for your teacher? Going forward, there are some scholars like Bangbu. I'm definitely mispronouncing his last name. Sorry for that. And he analyzes new Englishes looking at 5 internal factors. Number 1, demographic factor. How many speakers of the accolade or standard variety use it? So are there actually people who use standard variety and also a new English? Number 2, the geographical factor. How common is it, or how dispersed is it locally, okay, from a geographical point of view? So not only calculating the number of people who use it, but also where and how widely it is spread. Number 3, the authoritative factor. Where is this new English and its use not accepted? Where is it sanctioned? What are those cases in which it is labeled as bad English, to the point that people would correct what you are saying, what these people using New English, a form of New English, sorry, I just got lost in track there. I was saying, who are the people who say that it is bad English? Number 4, codification. Does this form of New English appear in dictionaries and grammars? In other words, is it codified? Remember when we talked about codification as an important process in the creation of a new language? Okay? Does it have rules that are written in grammar books? Does it have dictionaries on its own? And finally, the acceptability factor. How do people react to this new English? Both if they are users or non-users of it. So I want to give you an example of how a new English spreads out. Point number 1. Let's say that initially English was spoken in Africa and in Asia only by native English speaking colonizers. Okay? Point number 2. With colonization, schools had the aim to teach English, okay, as a subject, just English. Later on, the second step was to teach all other subjects through English, like our CLIL, let's say. With one aim, these schools had to prepare local workforce, okay? People who were able to communicate using English, who were natives, who were locals, and that had to work also for British people. So for second step, education. Third step, inevitably, these countries could not import teachers, mother tongue teachers, British and American mother tongue teachers forever. That's when they started recruiting local non-native teachers. Okay, just people, natives, that had learned English and that were able to teach it. Of course, this means that their English had a series of characteristics that were different from American or British mother tongue teachers, of course. And you know well that the teacher becomes a sort of example, of model for students. So they are no longer studying an inner circle English, okay, or the standard English. It becomes something different. Point number 4. What happens to this English that was then learned by students that had attended non-native teachers' classes, basically. English evolved into local varieties that were used for several purposes. Not only did they satisfy several purposes, but they also developed their own characteristics. Charlie does not agree with me. He's barking. Okay, now I want to talk about the levels of variation. Pronunciation, grammar, vocabulary, discourse style that are characteristics of some types of new Englishes. First thing that you're going to notice, and that everybody notices, is when they take a new English into consideration, is definitely pronunciation. More specifically, we're going to look at consonant sounds. In Indian English, the first thing that maybe pops out is the dental fricative sounds, th and the. You see these strange letters on the video. They are from the International Phonetical Alphabet. The first one, voiceless, is the sound th, as in thin, or think, or thing. The second is voiced, and it makes the sound the, like this. So thin versus this. What happens in Indian Englishes in general is this. The sounds the and th get closer to t and d. So the words thin and this are closer to tin and this. Now, what are we going to do now? We're going to watch some videos because obviously your book does not give you links, and I think it's definitely better to listen to different varieties of English via YouTube. Okay, so we're going to watch some videos together. How should we proceed with this? I want you to pause the video when I tell you to do that and watch the video. Okay, you can click on the link directly from your slides. So the first video that I want you to watch is a general introduction to Indian English, not only to Indian accent, but it is an introduction to the history of Indian English, some geographical aspects, and a comparison between Indian English and British English. So please pause this video at this point and watch this first video that lasts about 2 minutes and a half. Okay, so now, second video that I ask you to watch is a little more serious, and it is an interview on whether Indians know how their English accent sounds. The interviewer asks several questions about Indian accent, so self-perception of Indian accent, but also what people think about this accent. Again, this video lasts about 9 minutes. I ask you to pause this video, click on the link through your slides, and add any comments or questions to this video, or you can send me an email about it. Okay. Now, I want you to watch two videos that are a sort of tutorial on how to speak Indian accent, okay? How to use an English, how to sorry for that. So these two videos are about how to speak Indian accent. They're about 4 or 5 minutes long each. I want you to pause this video and watch both this first link over here, how to speak Indian accent, and then how to speak Indian accent number 2, and they're both about 5 minutes. Okay, as you can see, that video, those two videos were perfect. They were very, very good videos about the differences between British accent and Indian accent. And you see how he could move confidently through the two varieties, the two accents, the two types of pronunciation. Now, next video is a little longer. It lasts 15 minutes, and it's a TED Talk. Well, this TED Talk is basically about broken English, every Indian kid's ordeal. This has to do with how Indian English is perceived around the world, and what consequences this has on the local population, especially with children. So please pause the video again and watch this video over here. Okay, I hope that gave you some insight into how new Englishes are treated. Finally, just for a laugh, I want you to watch this last video about an Indian-American comedian that went to Italy. Sorry for the interruption. So I was saying, I want you to watch this last video about an Indian-American stand-up comedian that traveled to Italy. In this case, you're going to see an interaction between this Indian-American guy and the Italian population, and also hand gestures and nonverbal language that has to be taken into consideration when we are comparing two cultures. So please pause this video and watch this next one. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that, and now that you get the differences between nonverbal language, how it's used in India and how it's used in Italy. Anyway, so you can see that this might seem a short class, but actually when you click on the links, it takes a while to get through your whole lesson, your whole class. And so I want to stop here before I give you too much information for this class. And I will load the next class, the one that we were supposed to have today, on March the 10th, very soon. Before we go, as usual, I want you to listen to a song. And today I chose Memories by Maroon 5, and so I will read the lyrics. Here's to the ones that we got. Cheers to the wish you were here, but you're not. 'Cause the drinks bring back all the memories of everything we've been through. Toast to the ones here today. Toast to the ones that we lost on the way. 'Cause the drinks bring back all the memories, and the memories bring back you. There's a time that I remember when I did not know no pain, when I believed in forever and everything would stay the same. Now my heart feel like December when somebody say your name. 'Cause I can't reach you out. I can't reach out to you to call you, but I know I will one day. Everybody hurts sometimes. Everybody hurts someday. But everything gonna be all right. Go and raise a glass and say, hey. Here's to the ones that we got. Cheers to the wish you were here, but you're not. 'Cause the drinks bring back all the memories of everything we've been through. Toast to the ones here today. Toast to the ones that we lost on the way. because the drinks bring back all the memories, and the memories bring back you. There's a time that I remember when I never felt so lost, when I felt all the hatred was too powerful to stop. Now my heart feels like an ember, and it's lighting up the dark. I'll carry these torches for you, and you know I'll never drop. And then it repeats. Okay? So at this point, I want you to go to YouTube and listen to this song, and thanks to whoever sent it to me. We will be back in a while, and if you have any comments, any things that you would like to change about the class, please send me an email or just comment right in the video. Thank you very much. Have a nice evening.